Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear sisters. Hope all of you are doing well. Let's start our session. Astaghfirullahi rabbi min kulli zambi wa tub ilayh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Okay, so now today I'm coming to that part, the second part of my series or session, and that is learning about the oaths that are mentioned in the Quran. Okay, oaths in the Quran or the qasam in the Quran. Okay, Jazakallah khair for sharing this slide. Now we have to see, why does Allah swear by His creation, and what do these oaths teach us? At the same time, about a faith, reflection, and certainty. So, what do these oaths stand for? So, we will inshallah be learning. And again, it is divided into three parts. So, the first three sessions will be done in this week, inshallah. And then next week, we will be doing the structure of Quran, inshallah. Okay. And it is also a very interesting session. Okay. So, please move to the next slide. Yes. Now let's try to learn what is exactly a Quranic oath. So, do you know Quranic oaths? You must have heard of Quranic oaths, all of you. Mm. So, a Quranic oath, or which is in Urdu, we call it a qasam, is when Allah Subhanahu wa Taala swears by something. When He swears by something from His creation, and why He does it? To emphasize a powerful truth. So He does this in order to emphasize something which is very powerful, to acknowledge a truth which is already there and very powerful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing our attention to this absolute truth by taking an oath. So what happens? Our attention is immediately drawn to the oath, and then followed by what he is going to tell us. Now, oaths in the Quran are used to for or to draw attention to an important message. So these are the various reasons why oaths are used in the Quran. The first one is to draw attention to an important message. Okay, so there is an important message, and to draw attention to that, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is taking oaths or using oaths. Then, to make people reflect deeply. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking oaths to make people reflect deeply, so that people start reflecting. Okay, then oaths also show the greatness of Allah's creation. So, in order to bring our attention to the greatness of His creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking the oath. And then the fourth point is, the oaths strengthen our belief in the hereafter. So oaths are also used to make our belief firm, to increase our faith, to increase our iman. Okay? Yes, please come to the next slide. Yes. Now, my dear sisters, those of you who are here, can you just quickly list down how many oaths are there in the Quran? Any oath? Can you give an example of an oath that you remember? Anything? You must be remembering some oaths, some qasam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken. Okay, so let me tell you. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned how many? There are, there are difference of opinion, but mostly it is believed that around 40 passages of the Quran contain oaths. Okay, they are dealing with oaths, and more than 100 individual oaths are there in the Quran. More than 100 individual oaths appear in the Quran. So often Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by multiple things in one passage. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one single surah, often it happens when he's taking an oath, he swears by multiple things. And this is done to prepare the human heart for the serious message, so that we are all prepared for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's message. Okay? Okay, now please come to the next slide. Sorry, this they have added the pictures. Actually, I used the Gamma PPT Maker, and they have added pictures here. So inshallah, next time I'll be careful as to remove them. It is actually automatically generated. Okay. Okay, now let's come to the topic. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking oaths? So we know to make us pay attention, to reflect, to make us reflect on his creation, then to realize the importance of the message and to strengthen our certainty in the unseen. So we will become certain that since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking the oath, we will be certain that this event is going to happen. Or we are going to give our accountability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And oaths are also a means of waking us up. It awakens our hearts. Okay? Yes, it's a very powerful reminder, and it literally jolts us out of the slumbering life or the heedless life that we are leading. We are jolted out of it. And what is happening? Our whole attention shifts to the point where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to take us to. And inshallah, in this session, I will be also discussing around 10 oaths that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken from the Quran. And in the next two sessions, I will be completing those oaths that are mentioned in the Quran. Okay, so let's quickly move forward from this. Please come to the next slide, and then, yeah, we will be coming to the oaths and do it in detail. Okay, so now let's come to this very important part, that is 10 important oaths in the Quran. So for this session, I have listed down only 10 important oaths. Okay, and in the next two sessions, we will be completing those. So, yes, now I want you to answer me. Uh, what is the oath that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken, or in which surah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by time? I think most of you know this. Yes, Sister Mahjabeen has already mentioned Wal Asr. Very good. And Sister Anaya has mentioned Wal Fajr. Yes, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, Surah Asr. Very good, Sophia. So in the Surah Asr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking the oath of time. Okay, so just quickly let's see, and then I will discuss it in detail. Here, Allah's the 10 important oaths that are mentioned, that I've mentioned here in this session is, first one is by time, which is mentioned in Surah Al Asr. Then again, Surah Ash-Shams. In Surah Ash-Shams, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking the oath of the sun and its brightness. And then in Surah Al-Lail, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath of the night when it covers. Okay? And in Surah Al-Fajr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath of the dawn, by the dawn. And Surah Ad-Duha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath of the morning light. Okay, so now let's discuss them, inshallah, one by one, to get more clarity on these oaths. Yes. So Surah Asr starts with Wal Asr innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. So, you know, dear sisters, the Sahaba Ikram, at the time of our beloved Prophet ﷺ, whenever the Sahaba Ikram used to depart after meeting each other, they used to recite this surah to each other. You know why they did this? They did this so that their iman is always high. Okay, they don't lead a life of heedlessness. They don't become laid back, or they don't stop proactiveness. They are completely proactive. So that is why whenever they used to depart, whenever they met, after meeting, they must be meeting for some things or some work. So whenever they used to depart from each other, they used to recite Surah Al-Asr to each other, so that their faith became more firm, their faith increased, and then the work that they had been assigned of carrying out Allah's message is done by them in the best possible way. Okay, and let's now analyze the gift of time. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath of time, so this should remind us that time is one of the most precious gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? It is something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed humanity with. And you know, our test also is dependent on this time. The time that we are going to spend on this earth is the time we are being tested, right? So it is very important for us to understand the value of time. Okay, and it is also equally important for us to make the best use of the time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us. So every human life is measured by time, and once it passes away, it can never ever return. So can we revisit last year's Ramzan? Can we go back there? No. Or can we go back to the first Ramzan of 2026? No. We cannot turn around time. Even a single second, I cannot turn around. Can I go back to today's morning? No, I can't, and I won't be able to, and I will never be able to do that. And nobody, no human can ever do that, right? So the time that has passed away is finished, is completed, and whatever actions we have done at that time, it can't be reversed. So it's very important for us to act in the time that we have, so that we are not going to regret. Inshallah. Okay. And then by swearing on time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights how valuable every moment of our life is. Each and every moment is extremely valuable. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also reminding us how people often waste it away without realizing the importance of the moments. So this oath actually is teaching that success, it is not measured by wealth. Now let's come back again to this concept of success. This oath is again taking our attention to the fact that success is not dependent upon wealth or status or power. But in reality, the true success is completely dependent on our time. What we are doing with the time, how we are spending the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us with. Are we spending it in His obedience, or are we spending it in His disobedience? Are we making the good use of time? Are we offering our salah on time? And the whole system of fasting is dependent on time. We have to be very particular and very disciplined when we start our fast. Similarly, when we break or open our fast, we have to be very particular about the time. So this is actually training us to be particular. The month of Ramzan is actually training us to be particular for each and every second. Okay. So it's very now let's continue. So this surah also explains that people are lost. Now this surah starts with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking an oath of time, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on explaining that the whole mankind, the humanity, every single person will suffer loss or is in loss. Rather, every single person is in loss. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared, it is a statement from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that humanity or mankind or people are in loss. Now, in order to escape that loss, see, it's a very, very important phenomenon. And it's a very, very powerful and important statement. You know why it's so powerful? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking the oath of something which is very powerful, that is time, and a great blessing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's statement is absolute when he's saying that all humanity, mankind, every single human being is in loss. Now, after telling us about or giving this powerful statement that each and every person is in loss, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also giving us the solution. Okay, so whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about something, He will always give us solutions. He will never leave us with any problems. We will always have a solution for each and everything. Okay, in Islam, in our deen, whenever we face any problem, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a solution for each and every problem of ours. Either it is mentioned in Quran or in the Sunnah. Now, let's come back to this surah. So, after giving this powerful statement, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing two golden rules. Two golden rules to escape this loss or this khasara. And what are those two golden rules? Let's further study, let's further read and try to understand. So, now there are two exceptions or two golden rules, And this golden rules, if a person follows these two golden rules, only that person can escape loss, and that person will profit. Okay. So what are these two golden rules? The first and foremost rule is to have firm belief or to have faith. Okay. So a person who has firm belief, who has deep faith, and who has a solid faith, who believes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only God who is worthy of worship, and who believes in the prophets, who believes in his books, who believes in qadr, who believes in Islam, that person can only escape loss, and only that person will be successful in the hereafter. And also, let's look at the second golden rule. So on one end, when belief is very important, equally important is good deeds. So a person who has firm belief automatically will do good deeds. So the second golden rule is to do good deeds. Okay. So a person who has firm belief and who is doing good deeds is the person who will be ultimately successful, or who can escape this loss. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already summarized, yes, a Sahaba, I don't know whether it was a Sahaba Ikram or maybe a famous scholar, but there is a saying that if only Surah Al-Asr was revealed, it would have been sufficient for guiding humanity, because it is covering everything. It's a very short surah, but it is extremely comprehensive. On one end, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about loss, on the second hand, He's giving us the solutions to escape or to come out of that loss. And that is the first and foremost thing is to have very deep or true faith. And secondly, it should be followed by good deeds. So true faith goes hands in hand with good deeds. Okay. And then after that, we should encourage each other towards truth, and ask each other to have faith or to believe, encourage each other to have firm belief, or to start believing, or to start coming into faith. At the same time, we should encourage each other to practice patience, and first practice patience ourselves. So these four things are something which is going to help us come out of this khasara. So, for believers, this oath reminds us to live a life with purpose and keep on asking ourselves daily whether the time that I have been given is being used for what benefits our dunya and akhirah. And also, time is also a witness. Now, here also, let's look at this angle, that time is also a witness to our deeds and our actions, and time is also a witness to our faith. Either it is a witness for us, or it will be a witness against us. And every single action of ours and even our intentions are being recorded. Okay. And on the day of judgment, the time that we have been given will also testify for us whether we used this time in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's obedience and doing good deeds, whether we had firm faith, or whether we spent this time in heedlessness, in negligence, and in disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So every moment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with should be treated as an amana. Now, this is also a very important point that we get from this surah after pondering on it, that just like our bodies are an amana, just like amana, trust. Just like everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with is a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. Similarly, the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with, is also His amana on us, His trust on us. And we will have to give an accountability about this amana as well. Just like we will have to give the accountability about our bodies, our wealth, our knowledge. Similarly, we will have to go on the day of Qiyamah, and we will be asked about the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. So let's quickly summarize this surah. In this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking a very, very powerful oath, and the oath is equally powerful, followed by an equally powerful statement, which says that each and every individual is in loss except those who have firm faith and who do good deeds, and at the same time who encourage each other towards good or doing good deed and to have firm faith, plus they themselves are patient and they encourage each other for patience. And dear sisters, carrying out the various tasks that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us requires a lot of patience. Just like keeping fast is an act of sabr or patience, similarly, offering salah in a perfect manner with khushu and khuzu, with humility, is also a matter of patience. So each and every act of worship that we are carrying on requires us to be patient, and also to be patient in the face of adversities and hardships. Okay, now let's quickly come to the second oath that I have mentioned here, and this oath is in Surah Ashrams, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath by the sun and its brightness. Okay, so I'm coming to its discussion. Just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. Now, the sun, as we have already discussed in our previous session, how these cosmic bodies are so important, and they help us to revive our faith when we sit and contemplate on their creation and their importance in our lives. So, now let's go back to that statement. The sun is a very powerful example of Allah's perfect creation. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us all and each and everything on this earth, on this universe, in the perfect manner. So sun is a perfect example of a very powerful creator who has created this huge cosmic body for our benefit. So it provides light, warmth, and life to the earth, and its precise movement reflects divine balance in the universe. Okay, so now it shows divine balance in the universe by swearing by the sun. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He swears by the sun, Allah draws our attention to His control over creation. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that He has not created anything without purpose. Everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for a purpose, and every creation of His is under His control. And He prepares us for this surah's main message about purification of our soul. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preparing us about purifying our souls. Just as the sun gives physical light, Allah's guidance gives spiritual light to the heart. Okay, so now the comparison is made to the sun's physical light. Similarly, the spiritual guidance acts like a light on our hearts, and it makes us to move on the path of righteousness, right? Okay, so those who purify their souls, they are going to be successful, and those who corrupt themselves are going to fail. So may Allah protect us from this, from corrupting ourselves. Only successful are those who do their tazkiyah nafs. Now, observing the order of the universe should lead us to reflect on our own inner state. Now, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking our attention to this universe and asking us to ponder upon his greatest creations, that is sun, by this, what we should do, we should start contemplating on our own creation. Okay, on how we were created and for what purpose we are created, and are we obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like these huge cosmic bodies are continuously obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a fraction of a moment. Imagine if the sun doesn't move on the path assigned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to it, or doesn't obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doesn't come out for a single day, what will happen? The whole earth will be destroyed. Life will be over. So these huge creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completely submitting. They have submitted, and they are completely obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this should act as a reminder to us that where do we stand? We are also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. So are we obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like He should be obeyed? So we should reflect on this when we listen to this oath about the sun. Okay. Yes, and the sun is also teaching us consistency. Every day it's coming out on its fixed time. Is it lazy or is it heedless? No, it is consistent. So it is very important for all of us, dear sisters. And it's a reminder for me first that we have to be consistent in whatever we are doing. Even if you're doing small amounts of work, it's good because it should have good quality and it should have consistency. A hadith, the mafhum of a hadith is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those acts which are even which are done consistently, even though they may be small or little. So if we should never, you know, start doing something out of passion, or maybe we are very emotional one day and we start saying that no, now from now onwards I'm going to offer 20 rakats in tahajjud every day. So one day I'm able to offer, the other day what happens, I'm failing myself, I'm not even able to offer 2 rakats. No, this is not the right way for a believer. The right way for the believer is to be consistent. And the sun is the perfect example of consistency. It rises from the point Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked it to rise or made its path, and it sets without fail. Just on the point where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has calculated and set for it. Okay? So, in the same way, believers should always strive for steady worship, and they should be continuous in obedience, and they should also be continuous in purifying themselves. So, purification, inner purification or tazkiyah nafs is an continuous or ongoing process rather than an occasional act of goodness. And whatever we have chosen for ourselves, we should be consistent. For example, I'm choosing to take up Quran classes. If I'm doing Quran classes, so I should be consistent in those classes. It should not be that one day I'm attending one lecture, then the other day I decided to attend another lecture of another teacher, or maybe I one day I'm doing one surah and suddenly I don't complete that surah. I leave it. I don't complete its translation or learning. I leave it, and then I'm suddenly jumping onto hifs. No, this is not the attitude of a believer. A believer should always be consistent. Okay. Now let's quickly move to the third oath that is mentioned here. I've mentioned, 5 oaths, and then quickly I'll complete it, and then inshallah, 5 more are there. So, Surah Al Lail, by the night when it covers. Yeah. Uh, yes. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is again bringing our attention to this important phenomena, that is night covering the world in darkness, and how this night is a source and means of resting for us. At the same time, it is a mean of calmness, and it is also a time for deep reflection. So every day we know we are busy the whole day in different works. We don't get so much of time for sitting back and reflecting, but the best time for reflection is night. So by swearing by the night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing the balance in creation, the balance between darkness and light. Okay, and he's also preparing us to understand the contrast between different human paths. So somebody might walk on the true path of guidance, and others might choose different ways which takes that person away from guidance. So night and day is also presenting a contrast to different paths. And this surah is also explaining that some people give charity and seek Allah's pleasure, while others are selfish and deny truth. Okay? So in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also explains these things to us. Just as the night and day differ, human choices also lead to different outcomes. So, just like the night is different from day, similarly, all human beings are different from each other, and according to their choice, they will be either successful or either fail in the hereafter. Now, this oath is also teaching us that life is a journey which is shaped by our own decisions. So, whatever we are deciding for ourselves, our lives will be shaped accordingly. So if I'm choosing the path of knowledge, if I'm choosing the path of a talibi ilm, if I'm choosing the path of acting on my knowledge, then inshallah, my life will go, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open that way for me. The path of success, the path of ease, that is the path of Jannah. And if I'm choosing the other things, if I'm choosing the materialistic world over the Islamic guidance, then my path will lead me on that way. So whatever we are choosing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open that for us. Okay? And then we will be walking on that way or path. So night is also representing secrecy and reminding us that many actions occur when others cannot see. So now it's also powerful reminder that people are doing things secretly, and there are many things that are happening around the world or happening which we don't know about, or which people are doing secretly, but nothing is ever hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, nothing, no secret is hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. So this is also a powerful reminder for us that we should lead the same life socially as well as privately, in secret. Okay, when we are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in front of others, we should be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always when we are alone. Okay, and it is also reminding us that many actions occur which we cannot see, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows all of them. Okay, just like just like we can see things in the daytime, similarly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows clearly what is happening in the hidden moments of an individual's life. So sincerity in private life is equally important and an essential for is very essential for true faith. Okay, now let's quickly move down to the next oath, and that is the oath that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking of dawn. So by the dawn, which is mentioned in Surah Al-Fajr. Now again, let's look at this time of dawn. Dawn is a moment of transition. So what is happening? The night is turning into day, or it's welcoming the day. Now darkness is fading away and light is returning. So this is symbolizing hope, renewal, and mercy. This is also a symbol of hope, renewal, and mercy after hardship. So dawn is giving us hope. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by dawn, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that relief will always follow difficulty. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never leave someone in difficulty always. Maybe sometimes we are faced with difficulties, but after difficult situations in our life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always bless us with relief. And his wisdom is something which governs the cycles of life. That is difficulty, then relief, then again difficulty, and then relief. So this is an ongoing life cycle, and this is governed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and by his wisdom. Okay, and every individual will face this cycle. Nobody can escape it. Nobody can always have a good time, and nobody will always have a bad time. Okay, so this surah also mentions to us past nations who became arrogant and were destroyed. So by taking this out, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is again reminding us to be humble and not be arrogant, because arrogance is something which is destroying us. And that worldly power will never ever guarantee success. And true honor comes from obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a very powerful reminder, this surah, that if we want honor and respect for ourselves, we should be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And neither wealth nor status will benefit us on the day of Qiyamah. So for believers, this oath teaches patience and trust in Allah's timing. So even if we are facing a very difficult situation at this moment, we should never ever lose hope. Because just like the dawn is followed by darkness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's relief and mercy is on the way. Okay? Yeah. And also humanity will be raised after death. This oath is also reminding us about that. You will die, but again, just like the dawn is coming and life is being renewed, similarly all of you will be renewed. The whole humanity, the mankind will come back to life. So this reminder is encouraging us to prepare for the day when we will stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quickly now coming to the next oath, or the last one, that is, it's a very beautiful surah, and it's very, very dear to me and maybe all of us, because in this surah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about how he's going to support each and every person, how he supports the believers. Okay, I think many of you must have read this surah. Yes. So now here in the fifth oath, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the morning light. And this is known as Surah Ad-Duha, or the time of Duha. The morning light is representing warmth, clarity, and reassurance. It brings movement after stillness and hope after despair or darkness. Now, the background of this surah was that for some time the revelation had stopped, and Prophet ﷺ had become very sad because the revelation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was sending, the revelation of the Quran, had stopped for some time. So Prophet ﷺ was so sad and desperate that he wanted the revelation to continue. So after some time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this surah, and it acted as a balm on the heart of Prophet ﷺ. It gave him reassurance, and it showed how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves all the believers. This surah brings increases our faith and our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by the bright morning light to comfort Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and assure him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has never abandoned him. Because when the revelation had stopped, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was thinking that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nauzubillah has abandoned him, and now there is no one who is going to take care of him or support him. So now this surah is also teaching us that Allah's care is continuous. Even when we are facing very difficult moments of our life, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not, maybe sometimes it happens that you're praying and doing dua and you're not seeing any result. So you feel as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is silent, right? And you feel that you are waiting, and this waiting time is endless. So during these times, we should read this surah. And then we will be reassured that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never ever abandon us. If we are facing some difficult situation in our life, or if our dua is not being answered at this moment, it is actually something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us wait for. Okay, so life includes moments of uncertainty. Life might include. There may be so many times when we feel that we are uncertain about things. But at that time also, we should never ever think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to abandon or neglect us. Everything is under Allah's control, and they are a part of Allah's perfect plan. So we should always put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this oath is also reminding believers to trust Allah's timing. Okay, so maybe if we are not getting something right now, it might have been kept for us. We might get it in the hereafter, or maybe we might get it later in our life when the time is right for us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is right for us at the perfect time. So we should have full trust in Allah's timings, and we should never, never, never ever lose hope. Because losing hope is kufr. Mayusi is called kufr. So we should always remain hopeful. So this surah is a very powerful reminder to all of us to be hopeful and always think positive about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never ever have negative thoughts or negative expectations from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, even though we are not able to understand a certain situation that we are facing, we have to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the morning here is symbolizing clarity after confusion, and it is teaching us that spiritual darkness will never ever last forever. So sometimes maybe we are feeling very low, but this low is not going to last. It will be over very soon. And Allah's guidance will always arrive, and it will come at the time which is right for us, and the timing for everything is perfect with his divine wisdom and mercy. Alhamdulillah, such a beautiful, beautiful reminder for all of us. Okay, now please move to the next slide quickly. I'll just complete the next five oaths quickly so that because we have more than 100 oaths which we have to discuss. Yeah, can you please move to the next slide? Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Now, coming to the quickly, let's cover these five oaths in 10 minutes we have. Yeah. So now the sixth one is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath by fig and olive. And both of these are very beneficial and nutritious for human beings. So the fig and olive is mentioned in Surah At-Teen, and the fig and olive symbolize blessing, nourishment, and the lands where prophets were sent. So by swearing by them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding humanity of the long history of revelation and guidance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that this guidance is not something which has been sent now through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it has a long history. This guidance and revelation started since human beings came on this earth, since the time of Adam al-Islam. Okay, since humans were created. So this surah is teaching that humans were created in the best, and this surah is also teaching us that human beings have been created in the best form. But in spite of this best form of creation, we can fall, human beings can fall in the lowest state of character. They can become the lowest level, they can reach the lowest levels. You know why? Because they are abandoning faith, because they are sticking to bad qualities and bad characteristics. They are leaving the noble characteristics that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given in each and every human being and choosing for themselves the worst things. So by choosing the bad things, we are becoming the lowest of the low, in spite of being made in the best and beautiful form. So only those who believe and who do righteous good deeds, they are going to maintain their elevated status or the form that they were created in. So this oath shows that human dignity depends on faith and moral character. So we all know this hadith that that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said. The mafhum is the best of you are those with the best character. So it's very important to have, may Allah bless all of us with moral character, best moral character, and we have to strive for it as well. So someone, a person or a human being who has deep faith and who has very good or very strong moral character, he will have a very high status in this world also and in the hereafter also. So it also highlights the connection between physical and spiritual nourishment. Just as these fruits, the fig and olive, they sustain the body. Similarly, by obeying the revelation and by following it and by acting on it, we are nourishing or sustaining our souls. And true success for any human being is achieved only by nourishing both the body and the soul. So now this is also taking our attention to our health and how conscious we should be for our bodies and care for both our bodies and our soul. This is what the command of Islam is also. Now let's quickly come to the next oath, that is oath number 7. And this oath talks about the charging horses, and it is mentioned in Surah Al-Adiyat. So I'll cover it quickly. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by horses which are running swiftly into battle. Okay, and these horses, they are breathing heavily and striking sparks. So here, this descriptive image is mentioned in the Quran, and this powerful image is showing humans how loyalty, strength, and dedication, what loyalty, strength, and dedication actually means. Okay, so animals, they are risking their lives faithfully in service to humans or their masters. On one end, the moment a master asks his horse to move or to strike or to run, the horse immediately obeys its master. Now, in contrast to that, human beings often forget their own creator. Despite receiving so many endless blessings and reminders, we become heedless and we become disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these horses are a perfect reminder for us to turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like these horses are obedient to their masters, that is human beings, human beings should be completely obedient and surrender and submit and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the surah exposes this ingratitude of human beings and calls people to reflect on their relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this oath is teaching believers to examine their own loyalty and their devotion to faith. The charging horses also symbolize urgency and energy. So this is not something which we can take for granted. We have to continuously check ourselves and our loyalties and our intentions. And this is reminding us that the journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be taken with determination rather than laziness or delay or heedlessness. Okay, now quickly coming to the next oath, oath number 8, by the star, the oath of star, which is mentioned in Surah An-Najm. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking the oath of the falling star, which is reflecting precision, beauty, and order in the universe. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by it to emphasize the truth of revelation and comfort and confirm that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam speaks only when he is divinely influenced. So Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is never ever speaking on his own. He is only conveying the message which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent him with. Okay, so he is not telling us anything out of his own self, or these are not his words, but these are the words of our creator. Okay, yes. Yes. Just as the stars are guiding travelers, revelation is sent to humanity to guide humanity. So this oath is teaching believers to trust the Quran as the ultimate source of truth and guidance, which is only going to take us out from khasara or loss towards success. The star is also reminding us of humility. Even the biggest objects in this universe exist only by Allah's command and can fall whenever He wills. So the phenomena of a falling star is a powerful reminder of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's control, and anything, even though being so much powerful, can fall off if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants it to. So humans should remain humble, because humans are nothing in comparison to these huge stars. But the moment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us, we are going to fall. Okay? Yes, I will just take one more because we don't have time. And then Surah At-Tur, where we will be discussing in the next session, inshallah. So now let's me discuss Surah At-Tariq. Yes, the oath number 9, by the sky and the night visitor. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by the sky and a piercing night star. It's called At-Tariq, which is drawing our attention to the vastness of creation and the precision of the universe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this universe perfect and precise. Each and every cosmic body is moving in its prescribed path. The surah reminds humans that they are constantly observed and recorded. Just like everything has been set on its perfect path by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, similarly, human beings are also being constantly watched and observed, and each and every act or intention or words of theirs is being recorded. And the one who has created these stars and human beings is able to resurrect them. He's going to make us come back to life again after we die. And this is going to be certain on the day of Qiyamah. So this oath is teaching us accountability and responsibility for each and every action of ours. It also encourages reflection on the unseen world. So we should not only be carried away by the deceptions of this world, but rather take out time to reflect on that which is unseen. That is on the day of Qiyamah or Jannah or Jahannam, or which is going to come. Just as the night star appears suddenly in darkness, many realities exist beyond our perception. At this moment, we are not able to perceive the day of judgment, but it is going to happen. And these realities at this moment may be out of our perception, but they are going to happen. And when they happen, we will have firm knowledge about these. And at that time, we will realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was telling us was the absolute truth. So believers should strengthen their faith by trusting what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, even though we cannot see it for the moment. Okay, Jazakallah khairan kasira. With that, I come to the end of my session. And inshallah, the Mount Tur oath, by the Mount Tur, that is Surah Tur's oath, we will be discussing in the next session. And Jazakallah khair, dear sisters, for joining. If you have any questions, you can just quickly write in the chat box. We have 2 more minutes. Or if you want to say something. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, we'll be meeting again on Wednesday. Assalamu alaikum. Astaghfirullahi rabbi min kulli zambi wa tubu ilayhi wa salamun alal mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, dear sisters.